this comment is in reply to the Astronomy Now article, which is a confirmation by MIT, Columbia University, and Michigan State University in discussions as to why the universe is as bright. Why the universe is not as bright as it should be. Now, in looking at the development of the universe, as I discussed in my theory of evolution of planets, one must look at the prevalence of the black holes, which, according to my theory, is the origin of the development of the sun. So you have the gaseous cloud, which starts with the connection or the attraction of hydrogen atoms, which over time congeal, they get closer together. So they have the theory, they have parts of the theory right, but there are errors in assuming that the sun or the formation of the solar system or the stars happen as a result of the collapse of the system. What happens is that as you have a gas cloud, particularly made up of very extensive hydrogen atoms, as you have that gas cloud, in movement, you have the movement of H plus and H minus, which creates electricity. Now, when you have a gas cloud in a vacuum, what you have in that situation is that the energy becomes stored. Over time, and millions of years, you can say even billions of years, that energy gets stored and moves to the densest areas of the gas cloud, which is in the center. Now, when it is in the center, once the temperature, which is caused by the extreme amount of energy in the center, reaches a point of ignition, you have first the commencement of fission, and then that advances to fusion, which causes the development of a spark, which allows for the creation of a combustion, an area of combustion. Now, combustion is used loosely because scientifically combustion means that you need oxygen. But in looking at fusion, we are looking at the generation of energy by the consumption of the surrounding hydrogen atoms. So you can look at a hydrogen, like the H bomb, and the force that comes from that with the splitting of the atom and the development of the fusion bomb. And you can look at it in comparison to the amount of energy that came in on, say, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and compared to the amount of energy that can be derived by multiple atoms over time. Because of the consumption pattern, which means that if you have a fusion process which is occurring in the center of a dense gas cloud, you will have a concentric consumption of gas, which means that it will form an orb. That orb will allow you to have a round and system which is fed from all around, meaning that over time you will develop a sphere. That sphere or orb, which develops over time, is a unit that, as it continues to consume all around it, when it becomes apparent that there is no more, you have what's revealed as a sun. So that process is the process of solar formation. What you have when you have the development of a black hole is that at a certain point where consumption allows for the penetration of a part of the surface, the force of that absorption creates a vortex. That vortex, as it increases, creates a giant sucking process which creates the volume of sucking of the black hole. And as that energy escapes, that's the reversal of the black hole vortex. As that energy escapes to the path of least resistance, you have the development of a quasar, which many of us will look at as a point of light, but it is actually heralding the birth of a star. So that process that you have in the development of a black hole is that process where you have development of the sun. Now, going back to the article where you're discussing why the universe is not as bright as it should be, it means that while this process is occurring within the gas cloud, you cannot see it because now we rely on blue shift, red shift. And of course, if you have a magnetic field, it is too dense for anyone to see through it. So it is only when your quasar is formed or the last amount of your gas cloud is consumed that you will have the development and you will have the recognition that there is in fact a body presented. So in actual fact, you might have a lot of systems being developed, but the key issue here is that we cannot see them because the technology which we use to make ourselves aware of their presence is not sufficiently advanced to give us the level of awareness that we need to allow us to recognize the amount of light. So it's not that we don't have the amount of activity, it's just that we cannot see the activity that is prevalent.